But first, you should learn a little more about us. AARP is a nonprofit organization working to help adults 50 plus in Missouri live their lives to the fullest. We advocate for over 700,000 members on important issues such as strengthening Social Security, protecting access to health care, and ensuring everyone has independence and choice as they age. AARP Missouri also offers online tools, resources, and programs you can access right from the comfort of your home. Learn how to protect yourself from fraud and scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Network. Become an active part of AARP Missouri as a virtual volunteer. Find support while caring for a loved one through our caregiving resources. And enjoy a variety of fun virtual events that improve your health and wellness, like our exercise series, Moving It. At AARP Missouri, there's an entire community waiting for you. Learn more about us at aarp.org/mo.
Hi, everybody. I am Diane Hall with AARP Missouri, and I would like to welcome you to week 4 of our Relax and Renew Yoga for All class. I cannot believe that this is our halfway point. We are halfway through this series. This class is part of AARP Missouri's Moving It Fitness series, and we want to welcome those of you that are joining us for the first time, and welcome back those of you who have been to previous sessions. Our Relax and Renew Yoga for All classes will run through April the 9th. AARP Missouri is pleased to bring you this live virtual event. And remember, while this class is suitable for many levels of fitness, you know your own limitations. Please do not try to go beyond what you know is right for you. Please check with your doctor if you have any concerns before participating in this or any other AARP fitness offering. Here at AARP Missouri, we do work to enhance the lives of all people who are 50 plus and their families. We have resources and information online at aarp.org/mo, and you can find information about AARP activities and events wherever you are at aarp.org/near-you. Plus, you can find out about volunteering with AARP at aarp.org/volunteer. Our efforts to help people live their best lives include many things. Virtual options like this one for caregivers who may face challenges with in-person events, resources for protecting yourself against frauds through online information or local shred events, and working with livable communities, which goes way beyond housing and transportation, to include social participation like virtual events like this provides. Before we get started, I want to remind you to use the Q&A function that's probably at the bottom of your screen, and you can ask questions as needed as we go along. But do keep in mind, we will have a dedicated time at the end for a Q&A at the end of the yoga class. Speaking of yoga, I would like to introduce you to our instructor, Kat Robinson. Kat has been a yoga teacher for over 20 years and has a long list of qualifications, including certified yoga therapist, integrative oncology yoga from MD Anderson Cancer Center. She's a graduate of the Yoga Teachers College and much, much more. Kat is passionate about yoga and sees it not as a one-size-fits-all practice, but rather something that can be adapted to anyone at any level individually. We are so pleased to have her with us today. Welcome back, Kat.
Thank you so much, Diane. I can't believe that we're at week 4, but here we are. Today, we're going to be working on some core strength. I've been asked a few times now to work on balance. And one of the things that we need to work on for balance is we need to have that core strength. I think I explained in the Q&A last week that balance doesn't necessarily come from the legs. I mean, of course, they play a part in it, but our balance really comes from our core strength, which is the abdominal core, the glutes, and the thighs. So when we're working on these balancing poses today, we're going to be engaging a lot. So we're going to be starting off in the chair, then we will move to standing for that. If you have somebody that can be with you while you're doing the standing poses, if you have a balance problem or a fear of falling, please make sure you stay safe. The idea here is to feel better, not hurt yourself in the process. So if you're concerned about whether or not you might fall during the balancing poses, you know, you can do some of these poses maybe sitting, but it's not going to give you the balance that maybe you would think, but it will help just to build up that core strength. Also, if you have like a sturdy chair that you can hold on to, if you don't have a person there with you, you can use that. But let's just go ahead and first off, let's just start our breathing. We're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. And just let the shoulders relax. Let the spine lengthen up. Remember those sit bones that, you know, right at the base of the spine. You can expose them by just moving out that fleshy part of your seat. And just relax and let your breath start working for you. Let it start warming you up. Let it start oxygenating your blood. And just remember, you want to keep those shoulders relaxed and work within your limits. If something feels wrong, it probably is. So make sure you're still breathing. On your next inhale, we're going to bring your left hand to your right knee. We're going to bring the right hand to the chair behind you. And then as you exhale, you're going to twist to look over that right shoulder. Now let's just talk about your alignment here. The knees are over the ankles. The feet are pointed straight out. The knees are also in line with your hips. So don't let them fall out. Don't let them fall in. Just keep everything in alignment. And keep that breath moving. Remember, if you feel like you can go deeper in the twist, you're going to lengthen on the inhale and then twist a little deeper on the exhale. On your next exhale, we're going to sweep over to the other side. So you're going to bring your right hand to your left knee, your left hand to the chair behind you. The gaze this time is over the left shoulder. Remember, lengthen on the inhale, twist on the exhale. All of these little subtle steps. Getting the correct alignment is so important in yoga because we want our energy to flow. On your next exhale, we're going to come back around to the front. And we're going to drop our hands down the side. You're going to go ahead and maybe just wiggle your fingers a little bit. You can roll your shoulders back a few times. Just kind of warm up the shoulders a little bit and then go forward a few times, warming up the shoulders, releasing out any tension in the neck. And then you may hold on to your chair if you like, and we're going to sweep that right arm up. As you exhale, you're going to extend over to the left. Now remember that right sit bone is going to want to lift. Don't let it. Keep it pressed down. You have all these little intercostal muscles between the ribs. When we are doing this pose and we breathe, on the inhale, we're stretching those muscles. And on the exhale, we're just letting them relax. And this will help give you some breathing room. It'll help open up the rib cage and allow that breath to work better for you. On your next inhale, we're going to come back up. And as you exhale, slowly release that hand down, nice and easy. Then we're going to hold on with the right hand. Inhale, bring that left hand up. Now relax that shoulder. Don't let the shoulder climb up on you. As you exhale, let's extend over to the right. Left sit bone stays pressed firmly down into the chair. So if it lifts, you're going to lose all of your stretch. And we don't want to do that. We want to stretch from that hip all the way out through the fingertips. And while we're doing this, I mean, we talked about how it opens the rib cage, but all of this blood on our arm is now coming down into the armpit area where we have a lot of lymph nodes. So it's really helping to build our immunity and keep ourselves healthy. Because remember, as caregivers, we have to keep ourselves healthy in order to take care of the ones we love. Let's go ahead and inhale, come back up to center, And exhale, slowly release that hand down. We're going to go ahead and bring the hands back behind us. Now, if you need to pull up to the front of your chair to do this, my arms are really long, so they actually fit around the chair, but not everybody has long arms like I do. So you find the place that it's going to work for you. And if you need to scoot up to the front of your chair a little more, go ahead and do that. But just interlace those fingers behind you and just lift the chest. If you can take your gaze up to the ceiling and just start opening up through the front of the chest and the heart center. Open that up. And then as you exhale, we're going to pull that belly in. You're going to bring your hands to your knees, drop your head down. Inhale, lift the chest, bring the hands back behind you, stretch up. Exhaling, bringing your hands to your knees, round through the spine, chin to chest. Inhaling, lift, bring your hands behind you, interlace the fingers, open through the chest. Exhaling, bringing your hands to your knees and round through the spine. Inhaling, lifting through the chest, opening up, expanding, and exhaling, rounding through the spine, releasing the shoulders. And then on your inhale, we're going to come to a neutral spine. We're going to bring the right knee up. Now remember, you can always use that strap if you need to. You can bring it behind your knee and pull it up, or you can bring it over the knee to pull it up. So just find what's going to work for you, but just relax the hip. And we're just kind of warming up the hip here a little bit. We're going to, like I said, we're going to be doing some core work in the chair. And so we want to warm up the hips and the abdominals a little bit for the core work and for the balancing. So just keep your breath moving here. And then we're going to take that same right foot and we're going to bring it to the top of the left thigh. Remember, we don't want that ankle bone to dig in, so you want to make that sure that that bone is past the thigh so it doesn't dig into you, because it will hurt if it does. You're going to flex that right foot. You're going to, the right foot. You're going to bring your left hand on your right foot, your right hand on your right knee. Get the spine tall. And then exhale, extend out with a flat spine. Take your gaze forward and fold like a piece of paper. So you're hinging from that hip joint, not from the waist, but from the hip joint. And only go as far as you can comfortably go. If it starts to feel like, you're pushing a little bit too hard, just back up a little bit. This has nothing to do with range. Yoga is never about range because we're all a little different. One person may be able to lay their chest on their leg, while another person may only be able to go a few inches. But are they doing yoga correctly? Of course, everybody is. So just go to where you are. And then we're going to go ahead and inhale, come up. And as you exhale, we're going to release that right leg down. Now, it may feel a little bit longer than the left leg at this point. That's okay. We'll take care of that, because now we're going to do the left side. So go ahead and bring that left knee up. Spine is tall, sit bones are grounded. And just breathe into that hip. Let the hip structure relax. If you push too hard into this, into any of these poses, what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting some inflammation going in the joints. And we don't want that. We want to make sure that everybody feels good at the end of class, that they feel open and relaxed and renewed. On your exhale, you're going to bring that left ankle to the top of the right thigh. You're going to hold on to your foot with your right hand, your knee with your left hand. Take a full inhale here, and as you exhale, fold forward, taking your gaze forward, keeping that long spine, hinging from the hips, breathing into it. Again, it doesn't matter how far you go. When you start feeling that stretch, just stop and breathe. And just relax. The more relaxed you can stay in these poses, the more benefit you get. So it really has nothing to do with how far you go, how deeply you go in the pose. but relaxing and breathing does have a lot to do with the benefit you get from the pose. And then we're going to inhale, bring yourself up, and exhale, release that left leg down. Now for this next one, you may want to hold on to your chair. Well, we're just going to kind of start warming up a little bit, and we'll take this as far as you can comfortably take it. So I want you to just stretch your legs out. Now, if you can lift them, now don't lock the knees. Don't go so far that you lock the knees. But if you can lift your feet up and come into almost like a staff position here, go ahead and do that. Exhale, lower the knees down. Keep that belly engaged. This is where your strength comes from. This is where your balance is going to come from. So pull that belly in. We're going to take an inhale, initiate the movement from the belly, bring the legs up. And exhale, release down. Let's do 2 more of these. We're going to inhale, bring the legs up. Exhale, lower them down. One more time here. Inhale, bring the legs up. And exhale, lower down. Now this time we're going to do it again, but we're going to do it a little deeper if you can. So stay here if this is working for you. But if you think you might be able to go deeper, we're going to lift the legs and we're going to release our hands forward. Keep the spine tall. Now, one way to check this, if you release your hands and then you do this, you're not ready to let go. Hold on to that chair. Keep your breath moving. Keep the spine tall. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Keep the facial muscles relaxed and a smile. You might feel a little shaking. It's okay. That just means that it's working. So just go with it. Exhale, release down. Okay, we're going to take this into another phase. Again, we have to hold that core tight. So you're going to move up to the, not completely to the edge, but closer to the edge of your chair. You're going to be back, 4 or 5 inches into the chair. You're going to hold on to your chair, and you can bring your hands back behind you to do this. And we're going to do boat pose, sitting in a chair. Now, some of my regular students who may be here today know that we do boat pose quite a bit just to build up our strength. But there really is a lot of different ways to do this. And so one way is to hold on, and we're going to bring the knees up. Now, don't worry about how high you get the knees, but keep that spine tall. Let the shoulders relax. Again, if you can release your hands, go ahead. See, even I'm shaking. Everybody shakes in these poses, but that's what makes it work. Exhaling, release. Take a breath. On your next inhale, we're going to come back into that boat pose. You can let go if you want to. You can hold on to the chair. Again, if you let go and collapse, you're not ready to let go. Hold on to the chair, but that will still continue to build up that core strength. Keep the breath moving. And exhale down. Let's go ahead and just take a forward fold. So you can scoot back in your chair a little bit, bring your elbows onto your knees, and drop your head down. Now in this position, I want you to let that belly soften because we really tightened it up when we were doing those boat poses and, and the leg extensions. So what we're doing now is we're softening the belly and we're letting blood flow in. We call this squeeze and soak in yoga. We squeeze the muscle and then we release it and then we soak it with all this fresh blood. And it really does make us a lot stronger and healthier. On your inhale, we're going to come up and we're going to come to stand. So we're going to start with your chair. You've got your chair there. We want to keep your chair there. And we're going to do some standing poses. So you can have the back of your chair facing you or the seat of your chair facing you. I'll start with the back and we'll move to the seat. But I want you to just come into a standing position. And we're going to start warming up the feet for our standing poses. So we're going to start with just some heel lifts. So you've got your chair there. You can hold on to the back of the chair. We're going to come up onto our toes and lower down. I don't know if you can see or not, but lift the heels coming up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Hold that belly tight. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Let's do 5 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 3 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. 1 more here. Inhale up. Let's hold. If you can. If you can't, go ahead and lower down. If you can let go and bring your hands forward, go ahead. Hold that belly tight. If you want to hold on with one hand, go ahead and do that. And then you can switch hands. And exhale, release. I can't see you, so I don't know how you did, but I'm sure you did fine. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a large step back with the right foot. We're going to stay on our toes here. Usually I would have you bring your whole foot down to the floor, but we're going to stay on our toes because we're working on balance, and this creates a greater balance challenge. So you can kind of just see where you want to go with this pose. We're going to start with the toes, with the heel up and the toes on the floor. Then we're going to go ahead and bend that front knee. And we're going to just stay in this warrior one position. It's really kind of a high lunge, warrior one. And then we're going to sweep the arms up if you can. Now you might get a little wobbly here. Hold on with one hand if you need to. Hold on with both hands if you need to. But just press that heel back, and then you can take your gaze up to the ceiling if you like. Lift through the chest. And then we're going to go ahead and inhale, step that right foot up. And we're going to switch feet going to the left foot, stepping back. Again, if you need to bring that whole foot to the floor, you can. But if you can stay on your toes, go ahead and do that. That also stretches the feet. It helps with a lot of things going on with our foundation, which is our feet. So we're really stretching those muscles. We're strengthening the bones. So again, if you want to bring your hands up, you can. If you're feeling really strong. Or you can bring one hand down to the chair and leave one hand up. Or you can keep both hands right here. Take your gaze up to the ceiling. Keep your breath moving. And then we're going to go ahead and inhale, step that foot up. Now for the next one, you may want the seat of the chair facing you. So I'm going to turn mine, but again, if you want the back of the chair near you, you can go ahead and do that too. But we're going to come into triangle pose. So what you're going to do in triangle pose is we're going to bring the right hand down to the chair. It can be on the back of the chair. If you've got the back facing you, you can have your hand here. But if you want the seat facing you, it gives you a little bit more of a foundation there. We're going to take a large step back with the left foot. The right hand is on the chair. And we're going to step back with the left foot. And if you can, you're going to bring that left hand up to the ceiling. Now, I don't want you to lock that right knee. It's okay to have the leg straight, but don't lock the knee. Locking the knee is never good for us. Keep the breath moving. And then we're going to exhale down. We're going to turn the chair the other way, or you can stay where you're at. I'm going to turn my chair the other way so you can see both sides. So we're going to bring the left hand down onto the seat of the chair. Now try to line up that left arm as best you can with the left leg. So you're kind of in one plane here. And then we're going to step back with that right foot. And we're going to come into triangle pose on the other side. So we're going to bring that right hand to the ceiling. Keep your breath moving. That's one thing that happens in these poses is we end up holding our breath. We really don't want to do that. We want to keep our breath just moving. If you can take your gaze up to that hand in the air, go ahead. But again, if balance is an issue, we're working on balance here. If that's an issue, just look straight ahead or even down at the floor. And exhaling, releasing down. Let's take a little down dog here. Now you can turn your chair where the back is facing you and walk your feet back until you're in this down dog position. Or if you want to go a little deeper, you can bring your hands onto the chair and walk your feet back. Just take a little stretch here. And then we're going to go ahead and walk ourselves back up. So are we ready to try tree pose here? Let's work on tree pose a little bit. So remember, when we are working on our balance, we're not really working from the legs, we're working from the core. And remember, we really only stand on one foot at a time. We very seldom stand like this, like we're at attention on both feet, unless we're in yoga class and we're told to do that. But for the most part, if we're just hanging out with people, we're only standing on one foot anyway. So right now I'm on my left foot. I've got most of my pressure on my left foot. The right foot is just kind of hanging out here. So I want you to take that philosophy with you when you do that. I'm going to rock my weight now over to my right foot. My left leg is just kind of hanging out. See, it's not doing much. Everything's on there. But when we're asked to balance, we kind of panic. And so I want you to just relax. You should be having fun with this. Balance is something that we don't want to take too seriously because sometimes it's elusive for even the best of us. Anything can knock us off balance. So if it's not coming to you easily, sometimes it's better to just walk away than it is to keep trying and keep getting frustrated and find yourself more and more out of balance. So we're going to start by bringing the left foot to the ankle. And we're going to keep that left big toe on the floor, almost like a kickstand. So you're going to turn your knee out, your left knee out as far as you can, opening up through the groin area. Now, if this is good for you, stay here. No reason to go farther. You got your hand there on your chair. You can bring your thumb to your heart center, coming into this full, pose here with a really gentle modification that will get you started on your path to good balance. This is fine. If you want to go deeper, you can take your foot up to your calf. And then if you can let go ahead and let go. But I will tell you, the more you pull everything into that midline, which is the center of the body, the line that runs down through the center of the body, squeeze everything into that midline, including pressing your hands together. If you've released your hand off of that chair and you've got both hands at heart center, press them together firmly. Find a focal point, something that is not moving, and stay with that focal point. If you do one of these a few times, that's okay. That's just going to build up your strength. Now, if this is good for you, stay here. But if you want to go deeper, we're going to bring that foot up to your thigh. We just don't want to put it right over our knee. If you put it right over your knee, then you could hurt your knee. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my foot back down because, as I've said before, I have a knee injury on my left side that I probably need to have fixed, and I just haven't done yet. So I don't really have the range of motion in that knee that I do on my right side. So I'm just going to stay right here. It's very important that we honor those parts of our body that may have an injury or may need a little TLC. And see, I wobble. Everybody wobbles. It happens. Just as long as you don't wobble and fall over and hurt yourself. Go ahead and exhale, release. And I'm gonna move my chair to the other side, and we're gonna go to the other side. Okay, first off, find that focal point. Secondly, pull that belly in, squeeze everything into the midline. It's almost like somebody's putting a corset on you and tightening it. So you're really squeezing everything into the center. And then you're gonna bring that right foot to your ankle. Keep the toe on the floor if you like. Like I said, just use it as a kickstand. That will help you to build up that strength, because this is where we want the strength to come from. But if you want to bring it up, you can bring your foot to your calf. If you want to let go of the chair and bring both hands to heart center, you can go ahead and do that. It's really important to just find where it's going to work for you. Make sure if you need to hold on, you hold on. If you want to bring that foot all the way up to the inner thigh, see, I have a lot more range of motion on this side. So, you know, I kind of baby that left knee. The right side, I don't baby so much. And you can bring your hands to heart center. Keep your breath moving, stay relaxed. All of that wiggling that left leg is doing, all those little micro adjustments, those make us really, really strong. And it just goes to show that how we have to make all these tiny little adjustments in our balancing poses. But those tiny little adjustments that we make in the balancing poses also help us throughout our everyday life, because all day long, we are having to make micro adjustments. One more breath here. And exhaling, releasing down. Go ahead and shake both legs a little bit, get some blood flow going into the joints, into the knees, into the ankles. And then we're gonna go ahead and bring that chair back around. And we're gonna go ahead and have a seat in the chair. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bring ourselves to the right side of our chair, and we're just gonna go into a little bit of a runner's lunge here. We are on the top of the foot. This was a question that was asked last week. We are on the top of the foot, stretching the top of the ankle. Now, if that hurts you, again, listen to your body. If it hurts, just come onto your toes. But if you can stretch that foot back, go ahead. Keep your breath moving. If you want to bring your arms up, you can do that. And then we're going to release. We're going to slide over to the left side of our chair. We're going to bring that left foot back again onto our toes or onto the top of the foot, either one. Make sure that front knee, I should have probably said this on the other side, make sure that that front knee, the right knee, is right over the ankle, that it doesn't push forward on you. Again, you can bring your arms up. Again, keeping the breath moving. And exhale, release. We're going to come to the center of the chair. We're going to go back into the goddess pose, or sun god, whichever the case may be here. But we're going to go into this pose that we did last week. This is also a good chair position for triangle pose. So we might want to bring that to your attention next week. If you have a hard time doing the standing version of triangle, you can do this. So we're going to bring the right foot out, and we're going to turn those toes out at about a 45-degree angle, and we're going to bring that knee right over the ankle. Then we're going to bring that left foot out, same thing. We're going to turn those toes out, and we're going to have the knee right over the ankle. And then we're going to bring our arms up, bend the elbows, and we're going to come into this little upper body strengthener here. And we're going to squeeze the elbows together and open. We don't want to forget the shoulders. The shoulders hold a lot of tension. Let's go ahead and bring those elbows together again and open. And two more. Bring the elbows together and open. And one more here. and open. We're going to go ahead, take the left side. Left elbow comes to the top of the left knee. Right hand comes to the ceiling. And again, like I said, this is a really good substitute seated position modification for triangle pose in a seated position. And then we're going to bring that right arm down to the top of the right thigh. We're going to bring that left hand up to the ceiling. Keeping your breath moving. And then we're going to come back to center, and we're going to bring our feet back to center. Let's go ahead and just take a seated child's pose here. Let's go ahead and make sure the knees are over the ankles. We're going to fold forward. Hinging from the hip joint, you can bring your elbows down. And if you can drop your head all the way down, go ahead. If you can't, you can put a pillow on your lap. You can, or you could just stay right here and drop your head down. But just find a place that's going to be relaxing for you and your body. Some place where you can release the back of the neck. You can release the shoulders. You can release the lower back. And just take a little breather here. And then we're going to inhale up. Let's go ahead and cross our knees. We're going to cross the right leg over the left. We're going to hold on to our chair, and we're going to exhale out. Again, kind of stretching into the hip structure, releasing the belly. We've worked the core a lot today. And so we want to release that out and soften and breathe. Now, if this is hard for you to cross over the knees, cross your ankles. Inhale, come up. And we're going to switch sides. So you're going to bring that left knee over the right, or you can cross your ankles. And we're going to exhale out. Keeping the spine long, stretching into the back. Keeping the breath moving. And inhale up. Now remember at the beginning when we reach back and we clasp our hands behind us and open the shoulders, we did this. Now let's do this again. Let's open up the chest again. Pull those shoulders back as far as you can. Lift through the chest. Take your gaze up to the ceiling. Keep your breath moving. And exhale, release. Go ahead and bring that right knee into your chest again. One more time here. Softening and releasing. And then bring the left knee into your chest. Again, softening and releasing. And then we're going to drop that foot down to the floor. I want you to get comfortable in your chair. If you feel like you would like to lie down on the floor, this is our final relaxation pose, Shavasana, our corpse pose. So, we want to be completely relaxed in this. If you have a hard time getting up and down off the floor, you're going to want to stay in that chair. But if you can get down on the floor and get back up safely, you're just going to lie down and, and just let your body completely relax. But if you're sitting in the chair, you're going to bring your hands on your knees. And I want you to just start off closing your eyes and just connect with that breath. And I want you to just let your lungs relax. You know, a lot of times we try to force the breath, especially when we're first learning the breathing techniques. So I want you to just let those lungs relax, because you know it's like at night when you're relaxed and you're sleeping, the lungs go automatically. They work automatically. So just kind of find that spot in you where you're just allowing your body to work automatically here. And then I want you to just get a mental picture in your head of all of your body's systems and organs. It doesn't matter what they look like in your head. Your heart can be one of those Valentine's Day shaped hearts. It doesn't matter. But I want you to just kind of get an image of all of your body's systems, all of your body's organs, and picture them working properly. And if they're healthy, if you're healthy, if you have no health issues, then picture all of your organs healthy and doing what they're supposed to do. The heart's beating, the lungs are breathing, the blood is circulating, the digestive system is doing its thing. Everything's working like it's supposed to. Now, if you do have a health condition that has affected any of these systems or organs, picture them healing. Picture every time you inhale, picture that breath going directly to that organ or system or whatever the case may be. And that healing breath, have it go in like it's healing and it's creating fresh oxygenated tissue, healthy tissue. And as you exhale, you're exhaling all of that dis-ease in the body. You're exhaling it away. Every once in a while, it's just good for us to just breathe healing energy into our body. And since there's such a strong connection between the mind and the body, sometimes the mind can convince the body that it's sick. We've all known those people that do that. I actually have been one of them when I was, in school. I convinced myself I was sick so I could stay home. Don't do that so much now, but there are people out there that can convince themselves that they're sick. Well, if you can do that, then who's to say that you can't heal yourself by positive thoughts as well? It certainly has its place. Let your shoulders just drop. Let your facial muscles relax. And I want to thank all of you for joining me again today. Like I said, it's hard to believe that we're halfway through this program. So far, it's been a blast. I've really been enjoying having all of you. Until next week, namaste.
Thank you so much, Kat. That was awesome. For those of you who fell asleep during Shavasana, please come back to us.
Please wake up.
It was really relaxing. And I think I've told you before, I don't know if I told you on air or not, but that's one of my saddest parts of running the tech for these things is we get to that part and then I have to start bringing everything back together for the Q&A.
Yeah.
But so we have some questions coming online. At least I think we do. We had a hand raised up there. Please remember to use the Q&A function. Now is the time to put those questions to Kat about yoga practice, about modification.
Can I address a question from last week that I think I misunderstood?
By all means.
I think we had a question last week about setting an intention before practice. And I thought that they said, should we sit at attention? So I answered that question perfectly, but I didn't answer the question. Yes, setting an intention for your practice is always very important. we kind of come in, I kind of come in with an idea of what we're going to be doing. Today, for instance, we were working on balance and the muscles that, help with that. But if you have an intention of healing your body or relaxation or finding peace, please set those intentions. This is your practice. This is not my practice. This is your practice. I'm just the tour guide here. So, make this about you, not about anybody else. So yes, please do set your intention. So now we can go on to the next questions.
Okay. And I didn't mean to be laughing at you, but when you said you were our tour guide, all I could do was picture Julie McCoy, my cruise director.
The Love Boat.
Well, that age, I think that come up. I'm sorry. We got a comment from an anonymous attendee that says, "Thank you so very much. It was great." I agree with that.
Thank you so much.
Questions so far, but I have a question for you, for me. So
Okay.
you do triangle, when we did the triangle pose with the chair and you put your hand in the thing. I couldn't actually, and maybe this speaks to us all having different body types and different longer limbs or shorter limbs or longer bodies, but I couldn't put my hand flat on the chair and straighten out that matching leg with right hand, right leg. So I had to only do dips to do that. So I guess everybody maybe has a different.
That's right. You can use your fingertips. Body orientation and the size of your body really does make a difference in a lot of these poses. And we're all different. We're not cookie cutter. We're all different. So if your arms are a little shorter, my arms practically touch the floor when I put them down at my side, but not everybody does. You can come onto your fingertips or use a block. Put a block down on the chair and put your hand on the block. So yeah.
I have the T-Rex arm. We've got some other questions coming up. Christine says, "Sorry for my late entry to practice. Is there a tip for proper foot placement for balance in one and or two-footed poses?"
Yes. So, let's address that. When we are standing, if you've ever been around a toddler that's learning to walk, a 1-year-old, they're trying to find their balance. It is said that the greatest balancing act known to man is just to be able to stand on our own 2 feet. So when we are starting off in these poses and the balancing poses especially, we want to make sure to have our feet even. Again, you can lift your toes. You can find that bone under the big toe, the bone under the little toe, and the center of the heel, making sure that your feet are even with each other, that one's not, pushed out farther, or they're not turned in, or they're not turned out, but they're even. Now, again, we don't typically stand at attention like this when, we're talking or we're moving around. But for balance, it really does help to find your footing first. And, the first two, I believe the first 2 sessions that we had, we really touched on that a lot. So if you have the links, you can go back and you can look at those videos again and kind of find that. But yeah, absolutely. Having the foot placement, where your bones are stacked. And I can put my toes together and my heels about 1 inch apart, and I still can kind of balance myself pretty well. Not everybody can. So you don't want to go greater than hip distance, but you want to make sure that you find a foundation where you're going to feel balanced. So if you need to separate your feet about, 5 or 6 inches apart and, find that footing there, then this is going to, hold you up too. So just make sure that the bones are stacked, that the toes are pointed straight out. The arches are lifted, and don't get hung up on that if you've got fallen arches. It's just about connecting the mind to those muscles. Then you're going to stack the knees over the ankles, the hips over the knees, the shoulders over the hips, and the crown of the head's just reaching toward the ceiling. So I hope that answers your question. I hope that explains more. That it makes sense for you.
I want to just do a little bit of clarification, because I'm kind of, for me as well, I'm better on my left foot than on my right foot when I'm balancing one foot. Is it the same thing with the triangle of the big toe mound, the baby toe mound, and the heel and the triangle,
Yeah,
all.
pretty much all of the standing poses, you want to start off with that proper alignment because that's going to set the tone for the rest of the practice. And you know, in a class where we have more time, I can explain a little bit more. Here we've got some time constraints. You know, we've only got about 30 to 40 minutes before we have to go into our relaxation. So, you know, sometimes we don't go fully into those explanations. But that's why this question and answer is so good at the end, because it gives us a chance to go over some of the stuff that may be confusing to you. And yes, it is not uncommon to have one side of your body balance better than the other side, or you can stretch farther on one side than the other side. That happens to pretty much everybody. And usually when people first start doing yoga, they're actually a little shocked by that. Why is it I can go so much farther on my left side or my right side than I can on the other side? Well, we typically are left-handed or right-handed. I'm left-handed. I do everything pretty much with my left hand. So that side is always just a little stronger, a little more flexible than my right side, which really isn't good. And I really try to fight that because that muscle imbalance can really cause problems as we age. So, you know, we want to try to, you know, work on both sides evenly. However, if you're doing this practice at home, especially on the replays, when you're doing it just without the live version, and you can take a little more time, maybe pause the video to work on these things, you can hold that pose a little bit longer on the side that's less flexible, that's less balanced, that's, you know, not as strong, and you'll start getting that muscle imbalance kind of balanced a little bit better.
Excellent. Linda said, when the entire sessions are over, will we have access to all these sessions? Yes, you can go to aarp.org/movie, and it will link you directly to the playlist on our YouTube channel, and they will all be right there for you. Jana, sorry, I don't have my readers on. Jana, I almost said Jane. Jana says, I was also wondering how frequently I can or should do this, meaning the work, the
yoga poses, yeah. Your yoga practice. You know, if you can do it every day, great. That would be great. But, you know, once a week, you're going to feel it. You're going to notice a difference. If you can do it 2 or 3 times a week, that's even better. You know, today's Wednesday. Maybe you could do it again on Friday and maybe on Monday. And then on Wednesday, we'll have a new practice. But if you can do a little bit every day, you know, even if you're, you know, sitting in a chair and you really can't get up and move around much, you can do some of the seated poses and you know, the twists and the stretches, you know. So I try to do yoga every day. The breathing is really important, to just stop and breathe every once in a while, especially if you've got something going on that's kind of anxiety driven. Stop and take those breaths. And, you know, I always start off my morning while I'm waiting for my coffee to brew. I go outside and take a few breaths on nice mornings if it's not raining or too awfully cold. And, you know, and just kind of, you know, really wake up my lungs a little bit. And then I do a few stretches and I try to do it outside. Outside's actually a pretty nice place to do some yoga. If you've got a place that you can, that you're going to be safe, getting that fresh air first thing in the morning before, you know, there's so many toxins in the air, the factories haven't opened yet, the thing, you know, that is our cleanest quality air time is around 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I get up at 5, so that's what I start my day with. But really, if you can do it just once a week, you're going to feel the benefit. But I hope you do it more.
All right. And Jana also said a great session. So I wanted to add that
Thank
in.
You, Jana. Thank you.
Christine says, in triangle pose, what pressure is appropriate for placing the elbow on the top of the leg or the forearm on the top of the leg?
You know, you don't want to collapse into it. You just want to kind of use it as a place to rest your arm while you're doing this. So if you're really pressing down into it, you know, you may not want to go as deeply into it. So just kind of relaxing that arm onto your thigh and then reaching the hand up. It's going to be a little pressure, but it shouldn't be so much pressure that you end up with a compression bruise or you're collapsing into it.
All right. Joanne said that I cut out just a little bit when I was giving the web address for accessing the past sessions. So it's aarp.org/moving it. And you'll find the link to all of those right there. Thanks for letting me know that, Joanne. Christine says, very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rita and or Ron, because it's under both of them. Maybe it's both of them. Yay. Says, this is my second time and I find it helpful.
Oh, good. Good.
Is my right side on lower back and my, it says typo and I'm not sure. And I wish I could find something specific to help it. This is my second time to find it. Yeah, I think she's asking about, is there something specific she could do to help her, the right side?
Right side. On the back?
I think
it's on the back. You know, things like just moving forward a little bit, just kind of stretching into the obliques. These are called the obliques. You know, just kind of stretching. And you know what? That is a very common thing to have happen is the right side or either side having that, you know, maybe disease in it. One thing that I would be curious to know is if you kind of always lean to your right. Because sometimes I know I do this, like if I'm sitting at my desk and I'm there for a long time, I'll catch myself kind of leaning into one side or the other side. And then the next thing you know, I've started getting some back pain or some hip pain there. So one of the things that I would really recommend for that, first off, watch your posture. Make sure you're not collapsing down into yourself or you're tweaking from side to side. And if that doesn't help, then maybe take just a gentle, bring your right hand over to your left knee and just kind of stretch that right side. But you got to do both sides. You can't just do one. So, and then you can move it over to the other side, maybe kind of give a stretch. You can lean back and stretch a little bit, really just stretching it. But you know, if this is a continuous thing that happens to you, you might want to see somebody to make sure you don't have something else going on. But typically, you know, if it's just from sitting improperly or improper posture, those will kind of help alleviate that.
Okay, I have to laugh. Anonymous attendee, which is probably just as well, apparently noticed my lack of poker face. It says, Diane, not much of a morning person? And did the little icon. Yes, no, Diane is not much of a morning person. That is
When I said 5 a.m., is that what happened? You went, yeah, but I'm in bed by 8.
So Tracy says, I've been doing the breathing multiple times daily and it really, thank you. That's
good.
Paula says,
Wonderful.
enjoyable. Thanks again. Will these sessions be on aarp.org moving it forever or for a period of time? I don't know that they will be at aarp.org/moving it forever, but likely they will be on our YouTube channel, AARP Missouri's YouTube channel. We have some that are, I don't know, 4 and 5 years old, so they will be there for close to forever.
Can they download it?
You know, I don't know. That's something I'll have to explore and maybe we can answer next time.
Yeah, maybe they could download it onto their computer and then they would have it forever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what our permissions are or how that works, to be perfectly honest. I'll have to look. Oh, and Rita/Ron Hill said about the back thing, it's mostly waist and on right side. That was her clarification for that.
Waist on the right side. Yeah.
And right side.
So right in this area. You know, is it internal or is it muscle?
This sounds like a medical.
Because if you can feel that it's muscular, then that stretch will help. But if it's internal, if it feels like it's maybe your kidneys or something in that area, you know, you want to have that checked out. But if you feel like that it's a muscle response to, you know, just stretching it and opening it up will help a whole lot. This is the sad thing about not being in the same room because, you know, I can't really evaluate. So I always try to err on the side of caution that if it's too much, you know, if it's internal or if it's going on for a long time, you want to see your doctor.
Yeah, I think the advice always is check with your doctor. I think that's
absolutely. Yeah.
But we are at 2:59, so we have less than a minute left. So, and we don't have any more questions, so that worked out just perfectly.
Good. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming again today. Namaste.
Namaste, Kat. And I want to thank all of you for joining us for Relax and Renew Yoga for All. We invite you to join us next week to continue your journey of self-care. And we are trying to put together something a little special. So if you have someone who wants to do this workout with you, that would be awesome. We might have something for a pair of you to do next week if we can get it together.
Partner yoga. Yeah.
Thank you, Kat. So remember to register for the upcoming sessions at aarp.org/movingit, and then check out the previous sessions that we might have missed at that same website, aarp.org/movingit. And while you're there, do not forget to register for our Relax and Renew sweepstakes. Until next week, please be as good to yourself as you are to others. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. Goodbye.